Secrets in the silence. I watch her from across the cafeteria. She's animated, laughing at some harmless joke her friend just told. Then, she catches my gaze, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "What's wrong?" she asks, tilting her head slightly. I force a smile and say, "Nothing." If only she knew the truth. No one does. We often joke about our supposed lesbian tendencies, rolling our eyes when others tease us. But deep down, while I play along, I feel a different kind of truth simmering inside me that I can't voice. It hurts to think that she confides in me about everything, her dreams, her fears, but not about her past relationships. I keep that pain locked away, careful not to let it slip through the cracks of my composure. As she continues to chat with her friends, I try to engage in the banter, but the words feel heavy. My laughter is forced, like a veil hiding the turmoil beneath. I can't shake the feeling of sadness that lingers over lunch. I can't let her see it. Losing her would be akin to losing my entire world. When the topic of cute boys arises, I join in, observing the guys with exaggerated enthusiasm, but my real focus remains on her. I can't picture my life without her light. Thoughts swirl in my mind. What if she never knows? What if I stay silent forever, bound to this unspoken truth? Someday, maybe, she'll understand what I feel. Someday, she might see me in a different light. But for now, I'll keep my secrets close, locked in silence. I can't let her see my vulnerability. I can't let her see the depths of my love. So, I smile, laugh, and pretend, living in this world where only I know what truly lies beneath. As the weeks pass, the heaviness in my stomach only grows. Each time we're together, it's a blend of joy and anguish, moments stretched out like a pendulum between laughter and the aching secret I carry. I observe her with a keen eye, how she tosses her hair playfully, how her laughter rings like a melody that dances through the air. I cherish these instances, yet they double as reminders of the gulf between us. One crisp autumn afternoon, we decide to take a walk through the park after school. The air is cool, and leaves crunch underfoot as we meander along the winding path. She chats animatedly about the upcoming school dance, her eyes alight with excitement. The more she speaks about her plans with other friends, the more I feel that familiar knot tighten in my heart. "What about you?" she asks, glancing at me expectantly. "Are you planning to go?" I shrug, forcing a casual demeanor. "I don't know. Probably just hang out at home." Her expression falters for a moment, eyebrows drawn together. "Come on. It'll be fun. You could dance with someone, or just enjoy being there." Dancing. To the rhythm of music that would remind me of every moment we've shared. I can already feel the longing tightening its grip again. "Yeah, maybe," I reply, my voice barely above a whisper. We continue down the path, the branches overhead creating a patchwork of sunlight and shadows. I force myself to engage in the conversation, but my mind is elsewhere, wrestling with the urge to confess. As we pause at a small pond, ducks bobbing lazily on the surface, I turn to her, my heart pounding. I want to tell her, I want to break this barrier. But doubt creeps in again. Just as I'm about to speak, she turns to me, her expression softening. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" A flicker of hope ignites in me, but it struggles against the fear weighing it down. I take a deep breath, searching for the words that seem perpetually just out of reach. "It's not that simple," I say instead, my voice trembling. "What do you mean?" She searches my face, concern etched in her features. "You're not in trouble, are you? If anyone is bothering you, I can." "No. It's not that." I cut her off, perhaps too harshly. "It's just, sometimes I feel like maybe there are things I can't say, even to you." Her brows knit together as she considers my words. "I promise I won't judge. Whatever it is, I'm your best friend. You can trust me." Best friend. The title feels both comforting and suffocating at this moment. "I know," I whisper, unable to meet her gaze. I don't want to ruin what we have." Ruin? Her eyes widen. How could anything you share ruin our friendship? I look into those earnest eyes and feel the urge to spill everything. To tell her about the pangs of jealousy when she talks about her crushes, how my heart races when she brushes against me, how the thought of losing her terrifies me. But the words stick in my throat, and I can't find the courage. Forget it, I say, forcing a smile. Just me being dramatic. Let's talk about something fun. The moment passes, leaving behind a heavy silence. We move on, but a veil hangs between us, and I can feel her curiosity lingering. The rest of the afternoon drifts by, the laughter feels forced on my part, while she still seems blissfully unaware of the truth ticking away in the back of my mind. As the sky begins to blush with the colors of dusk, I know that something has to change. I can't live in this limbo anymore. Perhaps it's time to confront my own fears and take a leap into the unknown, risking everything for the chance of something deeper with her. That night, I lie awake, thoughts swirling. Friends or something more? I cling to the hope that, maybe, it would not just ruin what we have, but instead, it could build something even more beautiful. If only I could muster the courage to make that first step. The days turned into weeks, and with every passing moment, the weight of my secret became harder to bear. I watched her as she moved through life with an ease I could only wish for. She was always surrounded by friends, laughter trailing in her wake. I felt like a shadow, stuck on the periphery, longing to reach out but terrified of the implications. One Friday afternoon, we find ourselves sitting in her bedroom, the sunlight pouring through the window and casting warm patterns across the floor. We're sprawled on her bed, flipping through old magazines, reminiscing about silly trends from years past. I can feel the familiarity of the moment, yet an undercurrent churns within me, threatening to pull me under. Look at this, she exclaims, holding up a magazine cover featuring a popular band. Can you believe we used to think they were cool? She bursts into laughter, and I can't help but join in, even as my thoughts drift away from the moment, slipping into the familiar fight between my heart and my head. Hey, do you ever think about how we'll look back on these days? I ask, my voice taking on a soft, contemplative tone that causes her laughter to fade. Like, what will we remember from high school? Who will be in 10 years? She props herself up on one elbow, a curious smile playing on her lips. Definitely the embarrassing moments. And our friendship, of course. There's something in her gaze that urges me on. Why? What do you want to remember? For a brief moment, I contemplate revealing everything, the crush, the feelings, the silent battle I've waged within myself. But the words get stuck again, twisting in my throat. Instead, I reply playfully, probably all the inside jokes we've created. Those are the best. True. The ones that nobody else understands, she grinned. Then her expression shifts, and I feel the change in the air. But seriously, if you ever need to share something, you can tell me. It's as if she's reading my thoughts, tearing down the walls I've built. The warmth of her assurance pulls at my heart, but still, I hesitate. I know, I reply, my voice barely louder than a whisper. The moment hangs heavy between us. I realize it's a gift she's offering, an open door. But all I can think about is how to cross the threshold. As the evening approaches, the golden light begins to fade, and an idea strikes me. Let's go for a walk, I suggest suddenly, surprising myself with the urgency in my voice. The park is nice at sunset. She tilts her head, intrigued. Sure. Let me grab my jacket. As we step into the crisp autumn air, the leaves flutter around us, painting the world in shades of orange and gold. I breathe deeply, hoping to find my courage in the cool breeze. Halfway to the park, we walk in comfortable silence, but I can feel the turning of the gears in my mind, edges sharpening, just waiting for the right moment. When we finally arrive, the sun is just dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows and bathing everything in a warm glow. We find a bench by the pond, and I settle down beside her, my heart racing as I feel the gravity of what I'm about to do. Look at the colors, she says, her voice almost dreamy as she gazes out at the water. It's like the sky is reflecting everything we feel. I turn to her, drawn in by her expression. What do you mean? She glances at me, and I can see traces of uncertainty in her eyes. I don't know. It just feels like change is in the air, doesn't it? Change. The word hangs between us like a promise, a challenge. This is it. If I don't say something now, I might never get another chance. Yeah, I murmur, gathering my thoughts, steeling myself. It does. And I think I've been hiding something from you. She looks at me with surprising intensity, as if every heartbeat she has is tuned to mine. What is it? My heart races. I don't want to lose what we have. You're my best friend. But I swallow hard, forcing myself to meet her gaze. But I care about you. More than just as a friend. The moment stretches, and I feel the world stand still around us. What do you mean? She asks, her voice soft yet intense. I think I'm in love with you, I finally blurt out. The confession slips from my lips like a fragile secret, and for a heartbeat, the world freezes. Her eyes widen, surprise mixed with something else I can't quite place. You love me? I nod, my throat dry, every nerve ending awake and alive with vulnerability. I know this is unexpected, and I'm sorry if it makes things weird. But I couldn't keep it inside anymore. What if I told you I feel the same? She whispers, her breath catching in the evening air. The weight of the world lifts slightly, and I can't help but smile, tears pooling in my eyes. Really? She nods, her expression melting into relief and something undeniably tender. I was scared to say anything too because I didn't want to ruin our friendship either. For a moment, everything feels right. The sunset reflects in the water, mirroring our emotions, colors blending, possibilities shifting. We sit together, hearts beating in sync, finally free of the secrets that bound us. In that moment, I realized that what we thought was a burden may become the most beautiful chapter of our story yet. The future stretches before us, an unwritten canvas waiting for our shared dreams to take flight. The revelation hangs in the air like the last rays of sunlight filtering through the trees. My heart feels both weightless and heavy, a swirling mix of hope and realization. I can hardly believe the words that have just passed between us. You feel the same? I repeat, needing to anchor myself to her certainty. She nods, a shy smile creeping onto her face. I do. It's been there for a while, but I was scared, just like you. There's a shared honesty in that moment, a catharsis that washes over us, freeing us from the burdens we've each carried for so long. My heart races, and I can't help but laugh, the sound bubbling up in pure joy and disbelief. So, what now? She shrugs, looking both giddy and relieved. I guess we figure it out together. I want to be with you, if you still want that. There's a vulnerability in her eyes, the same kind I feel thrumming through my veins. Absolutely, I breathe, my heart soaring at the thought of an entirely new beginning. We sit together, side by side, the distance between our shoulders no longer filled with unsaid words and secret longings but rather the warmth of shared understanding. With the sky darkening around us, I feel an urge to take her hand. When I do, it feels like we're finally stepping into the light together. The world seems to shift, and for the first time, I can breathe freely. Our fingers intertwine, fingers that have brushed past each other countless times now solidifying in a gentle grip that carries all the promise of new beginnings. Where do we go from here? I ask, suddenly aware that there's a whole world of unknowns ahead of us. She squeezes my hand. We take it one day at a time. I mean, we're still us. Just with a little more depth. We share a laugh, the nervous energy spilling between us as the last slivers of sunlight vanish. In the growing darkness, everything feels more intimate and safe. Our secrets are no longer burdens but rather the foundations of something profound. As we walk back from the park, our shoulders brushing and hands linked, I realize that the path ahead is not as daunting as I once thought. With her by my side, every step feels less like a risk and more like an adventure. We'll navigate the challenges together, facing the uncertainty of what it means to redefine our friendship into something deeper. In the following weeks, we allow ourselves to explore this new territory, taking tentative steps together. We giggle over shared glances in class, whisper secrets during lunch, and find quiet moments after school where everything feels like a dream. Each laugh, each shared look builds our connection stronger, and soon the fear of losing each other transforms into deep-rooted trust. We start to tell our closest friends. Their reactions are overwhelmingly supportive, revealing how many had sensed the spark between us long before we acknowledged it ourselves. The relief of no longer hiding adds fuel to our bond, and our friendship blossoms into a tender relationship rooted in love and mutual respect. One evening, as we sit beneath the stars in her backyard, I ask, "Do you think we'll always be like this?" She turns to look at me, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "I hope so. No matter what happens, you've always been the person I want by my side." In that moment, I know that whatever the future holds, challenges, triumphs, laughter, or tears, we'll face it all together. I lean closer to her, feeling the warmth radiate between us, and she rests her head on my shoulder. The silence wraps around us, filled with unspoken promises and dreams yet to be realized. As the cool breeze whispers through the branches above, I realize that this journey is just beginning. We have entered a new chapter, one filled with vulnerability, excitement, and the knowledge that together we've built something beautiful, honest, and true. With each passing day, love unfurls like the blooms of spring, and we're ready for whatever comes next, together.